Hello everyone. In this video, let's discuss how to implement queue using stacks. Implement a first in first out queue using only two stacks. The implemented queue should support all the functions of a normal queue: push, peek, pop and empty. Implement the myQueue class. So here we have myQueue class. We have to implement that. Void push int x, push element x to the back of the queue. Int pop, remove the element from the front of the queue and returns it. Int peek, returns the element at the front of the queue. Boolean empty, returns true if the queue is empty, false otherwise. Note, you must use only standard operations of a stack, which means only push to top, peek or pop from the top, size and its is empty operations are valid. Depending on your language, the stack may not be supported natively. You may simulate a stack using a list or DQ, that is double-ended queue, as long as you use only stack standard operations. So here they have given an example as my queue, so will not have any element. Whenever I give push, I will be inserting the element 1 inside my queue, so there is no output which is returned by this. And when I give push, the element 2 has to be inserted inside the queue, there will not be any output in this case. Whenever I give peek, we will not give any input, so we have to find the front element of the queue. The front element of the queue is 1, that is why I have got the output as 1. Pop, so I have to pop the front element of the queue 1, so I have got the output as 1. Empty, so return either true or false. We will not give any input value, but we have to get either true or false based on the size of the queue. Okay, so now let's discuss this logic in detail. Now I have to implement a queue using two stacks. So let's discuss the logic in detail. We have taken two stacks. Now we have to implement queue using these two stacks. Here we have to fill these methods. Okay, first I have to implement my queue, then I have to push, pop, peek and empty. I have to complete all these methods. Okay, first I have to take two stack. So here I have taken two stacks. For that I have to initialize that. So that is stack. So in stack I am going to store integer value, stack integer s1. Similarly, stack integer s2. So I have taken two stacks. So first I have to implement my queue class. So public, there is constructor public my queue. So here what I am going to do is I am going to allocate memory for the stack. So for this what I am going to do, s1 equal to this dot s1 equal to new stack. So I have allocated memory. Similarly for second stack, this dot s2 equal to new stack. Done. Now I have to go for push function. So this function is not going to return me anything. So I am going to give the data as void. I am passing an argument. So this value I have to insert into stack. Okay. So before inserting into the stack, I have to check a condition saying that whether my first stack is not empty or not. How can I know whether it is not empty or not? While not of is empty. If the stack is not empty, we have to do something. Let us assume I am going to insert a value called 1. I am going to insert the value called 1 inside the stack. Okay, first what I have to do is I have to check whether stack 1 is not empty or not. So here it is actually empty. Okay, if it is empty, we don't want to do anything. I'll come out of the loop. After coming out of the loop, what I have to do is I have to insert the element in first stack. So s1 dot push x. So the element which I'm going to insert in my queue, that element I'll be taking and I'll be inserting inside my queue. After inserting, I'll take one more loop and I'll check a condition saying that I'll write here. I'll take one more loop and I'll check a condition saying that stack 2 is not empty or not. So not of, so here is empty. Which one is empty? I have to check s1. So s1 dot is empty. Here I have to check whether stack 2 is not empty or not. s2 dot is empty. Actually stack 2 is empty, so we will not do anything. So I'll just come out of the looping body. I'll come out of the looping body. Done. Now let's try to insert one more element called 2. So I have to insert this as a queue, right? Okay. I'm going to insert 2 inside my queue now. So I'll go here, x value is 2. Check whether stack 1 is not empty. Yes, stack 1 is not empty. If stack 1 is not empty, what I have to do is pop the element from stack 1 and push it into stack 2. What I have to do? Pop the element. So how can I pop the element from stack 1? S1 dot pop. Pop the element from stack 1 that should be inserted in stack 2. So S2 dot push. Okay. So 1 I have in my stack 1. I'll pop this. I'll insert into stack 2. Done. Repeat the loop again. Check whether the stack is not empty. Condition becomes false. Stack is empty. I'll come out of the loop. After coming out of the loop, I'll insert the element 2 inside my stack 1. So 2 I'll be inserting in my stack 1. Afterwards, check whether stack 2 is not empty. Yes, stack 2 is not empty. If stack 2 is not empty, pop the element from stack 2 and push it into stack 1. So S1 dot push, S2 dot pop. So pop the element from stack 2, 1 I have to pop, okay, and that should be inserted in stack 1. That's all. Now check the loop again. Stack 2 is not empty. Actually stack 2 is empty. I'll come out of the loop. Now we have implemented queue by using 2 stacks, which means first element I was inserting is 1 and second element I was inserting is 2. So when I was inserting element in stack, I will be getting 2 first and then 1 first. Now I am getting 1 first and then 2 second, which means first in, first out. That is implemented with the help of 2 stacks. That is what the question is all about. So what we are doing here is, whenever the stack 1 is not empty, I have to pop all the elements that should be inserted in stack 2, then insert the element which we are about to insert inside my queue, and then pop all the elements from stack 2 and push it into stack 1. This is how I have to perform NQ operation of a queue using 2 stacks. Okay. Now I want to pop the element from queue. How can I pop the element? It's very simple. I'll take a method called int pop. Here we are not going to pass any arguments. So what I'll be doing is, I have to check one condition. The condition is if stack 1 is empty or not. If stack 1 is empty, it states that queue is empty. So I'll just return the value called -1. If the condition is false, return S1 dot pop. That is the top element of the stack 1 has to be popped so that I have dealt at the front element of the queue. Now I have to find the peak, the same thing, int peak. So first I have to check whether the stack is empty or not. This stack 1 is empty or not. So if S1 dot is empty. If it is empty, I'll return -1 saying that the stack is empty, the queue is empty. Else I have to return S1 dot peak. Done. I'll close this. So now I have to check whether my queue is empty or not. How can I know? So I'll take a method called boolean. Let's return a boolean value, right? Boolean empty. So it's pretty simple. In this method, we have to just return. We have to just return S1 dot is empty. The stack is empty. If the stack 1 is empty, the queue is empty. If stack 1 is not empty, we have element inside the queue. That is the logic. Now let's go for the implementation of the question. So first we have to declare 2 stack. So stack, I'm going to store integer value S1. Second stack integer value S2. I'm going to create a memory for this. So this dot S1 equal to new stack. This dot S2 equal to new stack. Fine. Now we have to go for insert method. So for this, we have taken 2 stacks. First, I have to check whether stack 1 is not empty or not. Stack 1 is empty or not. If stack 1 is not empty, pop the element from stack 1 and push it into stack 2. After that, insert the new element into stack 1. After that, take a look and check whether stack 2 is not empty or not. Now what I have to do? Pop the element from stack 2, push it into stack 1. That's all. Now let's go for pop method. So when I want to pop, I have to check whether my queue is empty or not. If the queue is empty, I cannot pop the element from the stack. So for that, I am checking if s1 dot is empty. If stack 1 is empty, we cannot pop any elements. So I'll return -1. If the condition is false, return s1 dot pop. That's all. Let's go for peek method. Similarly, if I want to go for peek, I have to check whether stack 1 is empty or not. If stack 1 is empty, I don't have any top element of the stack, so I'll return -1. Else, return s1 dot peek. That's all. Now let's go for boolean or not. I want to see whether the stack is empty or not. For this, I have to return a method, return s1 dot is empty. This condition is true, it is empty. If the condition is false, it is not empty. That's all. Let's run the code now. As it passes the test case, let's submit the code. As it passes all the test cases. That's all.